And liftoff. James Webb begins a voyage back to the birth of the universe.
When the James Webb Space Telescope launched, it was the realization of a dream more than 30 years in the making. But there were still some crucial milestones to come before the most powerful telescope ever to fly in space could deliver on its promise. First, the telescope's protective sun shield and its primary mirror, made up of 18 gold-coated segments, had to unfold without a hitch. Then, Webb had to travel about 1.5 million kilometers to a point in space called L2, where gravitational forces allow the telescope to remain in a constant position relative to Earth. Finally, mission operators had to align the telescope's mirror segments so that they can act as one giant mirror 6.5 meters across. Now comes the real moment of truth, the release of the first full-color images that will show the world what the new telescope can do. Because Webb is bigger and has different capabilities than its predecessor, the Hubble Space Telescope, it's virtually guaranteed to make new discoveries. The question is, will Webb have the same cultural impact as Hubble has had over its 32-year lifespan? Hubble managed this despite getting off to a very shaky start.
There's a significant spherical aberration.
Soon after launch, astronomers discovered there was a flaw in its main mirror. It was a disaster, but a few years later, astronauts installed new optical components to correct for the flaw, and the results were mind-blowing. Back then, digital cameras were still in their early days, so public impressions of space were guided by images that were shot decades earlier on film or photographic plates. In this 1959 photo of the Orion Nebula, the nebula looks purplish-red because the photographic medium is picking up the red light emitted by hydrogen gas, plus a bluish tinge from scattered starlight. Now, look at the Orion Nebula as seen by Hubble in 1995. Here, astronomers assigned the color green to hydrogen in order to distinguish it from other gases in the nebula. It's a very different look, one that was echoed in science fiction films and TV shows at the time. In a sense, you could say that Hubble changed how people expected space to look.
It's beautiful.
So what can we expect from Webb? Well, unlike Hubble, the new telescope mostly sees in the infrared part of the spectrum, which the human eye can't see. That means astronomers will have a lot of latitude in how they assign colors to the Webb data. It will be interesting to see what kinds of choices they make and how they'll be guided by artistic convention. Here's an example of what I mean. This Hubble picture almost looks three-dimensional because of the way the human eye responds to the red-colored gas. We tend to see it in the foreground, while the cooler colors like blue and green recede into the background. That's an artistic choice on the part of the team that made the image. Because Webb operates in the infrared, it will also show us familiar objects in a different way. Here's the well-known Andromeda galaxy at wavelengths the human eye can see. Now here's what Andromeda looks like through the Spitzer Space Telescope, which is sensitive to infrared light, just like Webb. Webb's view will be more like this, only deeper and sharper. With its giant mirror, Webb also gathers more light and therefore shows fainter, more diffuse objects than Hubble is able to. Simulations made before Webb was launched suggest the universe could look a lot more crowded when seen through the new telescope, because we'll be able to see more in the background. There's one more variable in all of this, which is the difference between media audiences today compared to those that were looking at the first Hubble photos back in the mid-1990s. We've all seen a lot more CGI since then, so the Webb photos will have that to compete with.
Die, spaceship!
Even so, I think there's a good chance Webb will impress us. After all, it's not just the image that matters, but what it represents. And when it comes to the universe, there's a lot of power in knowing you're looking at the real thing.